Hello, album enjoyers. Welcome to another week of Enjoy an Album with Liam Withnow and not Christopher MacArthur Boyd.
All right.
It's so sad.
That's so sad, man.
Instead, we have a return of Vittorio Angeloni.
All right, I'm Christopher.
Christopher can't be here this week. He's down in London performing at Comedy Unleashed.
Welcome to my other podcast, Politics for Stupid Cunts.
No, he's not Comedy Unleashed. I feel like if an actual comedian turned up at that show, the audience's brains would melt out of their brains, melt out of their ears. Even,
But they would just, oh God, just the whole concept of Comedy Unleashed is so fucking crazy to me. I hate the fact that quite a lot of my jokes would get aggressive applause breaks at that show because they think I couldn't say them anywhere else. Does that make sense?
Well, that's it. Whenever I actually see clips from these free speech guys, all it ever is jokes about fat people. Like,
people are too fat these days. That's the problem. And I'm not allowed to say it anymore at my nana's funeral.
And it turns out you can. If you want to see an hour of fat jokes, Vittorio is on tour at the moment, and that's all he does.
I don't think I do any fat jokes.
No, you don't. You don't.
That's the one community that I don't take aim at.
Making a note now. More fat jokes.
You don't really have to take aim at them.
So
the gun,
there we go. There it is. You couldn't say that. You can't say that outside of Comedy Unleashed. Christopher's not here because he's a busy boy doing everything ever. Instead, we have Vittorio Angeloni. Thank you so much for coming down. You are a repeat guest.
I think Christopher's avoiding me.
Well, it does seem that way, doesn't it?
He was supposed to be opening for some of the shows.
That's right.
He was supposed to be here last time we did the podcast. And now
have you upset him or something? Or what have you...
Well, I think the universe upset Christopher. I don't think
Yes, he's quite an easy to upset boy.
If he had a tendency.
Sometimes some of the rivalries which he has with people that they don't know about is really crazy. And sometimes it is as simple. I'm like, I'll mention someone, he's like, oh, that person hates me. And I'll say, why? And I'll be unclear as to why. And he won't really say, and eventually it'll be because like they brushed past each other in a hallway once. Yeah. And that's just him on the nemesis list forever. So maybe you brushed past him in a hallway.
Well, I think I have the opposite disposition to Christopher in that sense, in that for a long time I was like, oh, everybody's cool. Everybody likes me. That's
naive.
Nice, isn't it? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, man, they're great. And someone was like, you know, they fucking hate you, right? And I was like, oh,
that's terrible. Finding out someone hates you who you don't really know is really, you know, like...
Listen, the lion does not concern himself with the opinions of mice.
I think this might be why people don't like it.
Winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners.
So in this scenario, Christopher is a scared little sheep, I think. Or mice, not a sheep.
A fluffy mouse.
He's a fluffy mouse. That's the name of the what's the name that Timothy Chalamet gives himself in Dune 2. He names himself after a little desert rodent.
I haven't even seen Dune 1.
Well, it's really good. Anyway,
well, I think I've been told that Dune 1 is only good because Dune 2 is great and Dune 1 sets up Dune 2.
No, they're both individually really amazing films.
And the prequel, Dune 0, about that pregnant teenager.
What?
Juno.
No episode this week, guys.
That's a good joke.
It's a good joke.
I just made that up.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well done, you. That's good. It's good stuff. You know what? Maybe potentially permanent replacement for Chris because he doesn't bring fire like that. Just joking, Chris. So you've been here once before. We spoke about Paolo Nutini.
Yeah, and you really had a go at me.
Do you know what? I was not prepared for the Paolo Nutini love-in of our listeners either, who I got quite a lot of shit for being a bit snobbish about the works of Mr. Nutini.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
A young prodigy that never went off the rails. He could have been Miley Cyrus.
And I made fun of that song in particular at the end where he's singing about the Smokey Joe's Cafe.
Wow, Smokey Joe's Cafe.
I was like, you can't be a little white guy from Scotland and singing like that. And then it turns out, I really should have known this in the episode, that it is a cover. And he didn't. Quite a few people messaged me about that saying, he didn't fucking write the song, he's covering it, you dickhead. And, you know, fair enough.
Well, my argument was he's just singing about a cafe.
Yeah, that true as well.
They
just
have cafes in Pearson.
I think the quote was, he's had beans before. Which, fair enough.
Yeah, that's true.
The man's had beans. Ain't no one going to take that away from him.
I think the genius of Paolo Nutini, or the longevity of Paolo Nutini without going off the rails, having been, because he was 17 when he got pretty famous. 17, but he did the loads of the different drug. I think a lot of teen stars do a lot of coke,
Yep.
and they get Miley Cyrus, Wrecking Ball, woo, all mad stuff. But he just chilled out.
Were you ever
a
a drugs?
lot.
You're not really a drugs guy.
No, I can have panic attacks by myself.
Yeah. No need for that.
Oh no!
Something
See,
dropped.
what's
What was
happening
it?
is the book.
Oh, that's the ghost of Christopher MacArthur Boyd. He's throwing books around because we're spending too long talking about Paolo Nutini. We'll just rearrange that. So you're back for a second time. This week we're going to talk about Johnny Cash. Sometimes you do podcast, actually every time you do a podcast, at the end of the podcast say, hey, have you got anything to plug? And I actually think that's kind of dumb because then you miss out on anyone who doesn't finish the episode. So why don't we start with anything that you're plugging that you want to promote? I mean, you're on tour at the moment.
When does this come out?
Next week, pretty soon, because we are disorganized.
Nice. So maybe there's tickets left in Birmingham, Dublin, London, and Belfast.
Yes.
I think.
Okay, great.
It'll be fun for my tour if you'd like to come see that. And then I have a podcast. I do it with my friend Mike. It's called Mike and Vittorio's Guide to Parenting.
Yes, very funny. And Mike has also been on this pod. You'll remember Mike Rice from the Westlife episode.
Did he do Westlife? I was trying to remember whether he would have done Westlife or the 1975.
Well, yeah, I have seen him in his 1975 t-shirt, which I do find troubling because
He loves them.
I have a lot of respect for him as a guy, but then I see clips of him with that t-shirt on, and that respect does dwindle a bit.
He went to the 1975 on his birthday. And it was like a treat for him. He had the maddest birthday ever. We spoke about it on our podcast recently. His day was he went for a sensory deprivation tank.
I think for him that's kind of probably necessary every now and then.
Yeah, but of course he had a panic attack
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
in the tank, floating in salty water.
Yeah.
And then he went to a Michelin star restaurant.
Right.
And then he went to the 1975
I mean,
and took drugs
I think if you're gonna, that's a.
and
Do you know what?
kissed the boy at the concert.
Birthdays are birthdays, and why the fuck not? Do you know what I mean? Birthdays were the worst days. Now we sip champagne when we're thirsty.
I know this will be a rap lyric.
Yes, it is. I think it's Biggie.
I don't like my own birthday. Are you a fan of your own birthday?
You're good at podcasts because every time I try and wrap things up to move on to the pod, you ask a question that could probably go on for about 5 or 10 minutes.
Tangents are the lifeblood of podcasting.
They really are. Do I like birthdays? What I like to do on my birthday normally is like watch some sort of classic movie.
Ooh.
So either one that I've watched before that I really like that's really long, that's quite indulgent, or something if I'm lucky enough, there's something called screening locally. So I was in Dublin for my birthday last year, and I went to the Dublin Film Institute and watched Thelma and Louise on 4K, which was great. So that's the sort of thing I do. I'm certainly not taking drugs at pop concerts. Please. But no, Mike was on here talking about Westlife. As well as, I mean, I would say he did about 95% of the talking in that episode, which is similar to your podcast.
Yes, if you want to hear me speak for about 3 minutes, listen to our hour-long podcast every week.
But I wasn't there for that.
So Christopher was here.
Yeah, so Christopher and Mike did the episode. Now me and you have done an episode. So between the four of us have never been in a room at the same time, I don't think.
None can live whilst the other survives.
Yeah, I think it would...
Never the twain shall meet.
I think if we all four of us met, Mike would still do 95% of the episode. I don't think I really know Mike well enough to be slagging him like this. Not slagging him. I love him. I love his
That's
work.
all right. He won't listen to this. And if he was in the room, he wouldn't be listening either.
Yeah, we'll be talking. Anyway.
But you came for me for Paolo Nutini being mainstream and beige and basic, and Mike came in with Westlife.
I think that was Christopher, I think, pitched Westlife to Mike because they had a shared love when they were growing up.
Right.
Mike being Irish, Chris being stupid.
Because I got so stressed because last time
Irish people are stupid.
I got so slated last time, and I gave you 2 options last time of albums. One was quite a cool album.
Cosmo Jones?
Cosmo Jarvis.
Cosmo Jarvis. Who's Cosmo Jones?
Nobody is Cosmo Jones.
Sounds like a sort of 1960s Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
It sounds like, like a dog spaceship guy.
A dog spaceship. It's a dog. It's a spaceship. It's Cosmo Jones. I would watch that.
And yeah, so then you chose Valentini, and then I was messaging Christopher about this episode, and he was like, "What album do you want to do?" And I was like, "Here's one that I would like to do," and he was like, "Send over 5 album options."
That's
and
what
I
we
was
do.
like, "You're crazy."
Well, we do 5 because if you send just one and it's an artist we've already covered, then it's like, oh fuck, now we're in this awkward situation where we don't really want to do the one that
5 is good. So then I sent over 7,
yeah, and then I think Chris chose one,
and I said that's the
and
one.
you said I don't want to do that.
Which is Coloring Book by Chance the Rapper.
But either way, we landed on Johnny Cash, and that is the
Which
episode.
feels still quite basic.
Oh, I'm excited to talk about this.
Yeah, it's a beautiful album.
We're going to introduce the episode.
Okay, sorry, I'm sorry. I don't know.
No, don't say sorry. That's good. You've filled up a good, valuable 10 minutes of time.
doing my
That's
best.
really, really good stuff. Okay. We're going to talk about Johnny Cash now.
You're listening to Enjoy an Album, the podcast where 2 comedians listen to some of the greatest albums of all time.
The 4th album in the American recording series that comprised Johnny Cash's comeback was the last release during his lifetime. It's no coincidence that The Man Comes Around is the most poignantly elegant. What's that word?
Elegiac, probably.
This is why Chris is good, because he can read. Poignantly elegiac of those releases, with the rumble-toned troubadour transforming such unlikely source material as Nine Inch Nails' Hurt from an angst-filled alt-rock stomp into a hushed acoustic requiem for all he holds dear. These stripped-down statements from deep within Cash's indomitable soul are impossible to shake off. Not that anyone would want to. Killer blurb from Apple Music about Johnny Cash's American 4. The Man Comes Around. So you gave us a list of 7. We had a back and forth. We've landed together on American 4, Johnny Cash. What's your potted background history of Vittorio and Johnny Cash?
It's an album that I listen to lots. It's a very common thread in my life that there's like one album from an artist that I listen to all the time. I pretty much don't listen to any other Johnny Cash
Interesting
stuff. I have a weird one with Randy Newman where I just listened to his Live in London album.
Yep.
And it's
I love listening to live albums though.
Yeah. I love the wee bits of chat.
Oh, well, wonderful to be here at Brixton. How about that coffee shop outside? Anyway, love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good.
I've spoken to comedians about the fact that I do get sometimes if I'm at a live concert, very rarely, I struggle with live concerts. But if the like performer is like crushing, big laughs, applause breaks for jokes and stories and stuff,
it's so easy for them.
you're a bit like, yeah, but do it when that's the only thing you've got.
Yeah, of course. Literally, sometimes you're at a gig and people are like, wow, it's good to be here in Glasgow. You should buy some umbrellas, huh? And people are like, ah! Yeah, can you imagine if I said that at the stand on a Friday night, like, it's fucking wet here? People are like, aye. Same token, though, it does work the other way around. The second a comedian pulls out a guitar, all they have to do is like accurately strum once, and the audience are like, who is this multi-talented genius?
Do you think it's because, I think that's often because comedians don't think that that's comedians that are like desperate to be an artist or like not good enough at writing jokes. And then they do that to kind of get away with it. But I've seen a lot of conversations online about, do you know the way like all art that's on Instagram and TikTok now just has words on it? Like artists just write sentences in paint.
Yep.
And it's because they're terrified that their art doesn't mean anything. And the good thing is that words definitely mean things.
Right, okay. Well, do you think that's the artist? It's more of a kind of reaction to the lack of media literacy amongst people, though, who need to be told what art means, right?
It's just,
Because like anything that's open to interpretation, people are just too stupid to actually look into.
every film that comes out now.
Yeah. It's all about poor things and everything. It was just won a lot of Oscars.
Give them the ick.
And people will say, it's actually a little bit gross. It's actually a man and like she's a child. But it's like, that's the fucking point! Have you ever seen anything ever? These people should be lobotomized like Bella Baxter was at the start of Poor Things, basically. I
Or
think.
they should just start the spoilers. I haven't seen it.
I mean, it's the start. It's the start.
It's the premise of
It's
the film.
it's the plot of the film. Yeah. But no, I do. I actually, me and Chris argue about spoilers a lot, and you're right. I would consider what I just said a spoiler. So
I don't.
do
I
apologise.
often don't know. I don't want to know anything about a
Same.
film before
I'm
I go in
exactly
and
the
watch it.
same.
Yeah.
Exactly the same.
But I think in films now they should start taking that Instagram art approach. We're just in the middle of the middle of Oppenheimer. It goes blowing up loads of Japanese people is bad.
Yeah.
It just
yeah.
says that on the screen.
I actually would prefer if you got a flyer handed to you on the way in. So
blowing up loads of
this is what the
Japanese people is bad.
film means. This is the point, and this is how. I mean, art basically exists to tell you what is good and bad in the world, and this is what is good and this is what is bad. And if you think otherwise, then you're a stupid baby. I think that's what we should all say. Anyway. So Johnny Cash. So you listen to. How did you come across this album then? If this is the only Cash you know,
Do you want to know a really embarrassing answer to that question? That is
I'd love to.
100% true.
Yeah.
Have you seen the film Barnyard?
no.
Oh my God, Barnyard's fucking brilliant.
Ross is
Barnyard,
nodding at Barnyard.
it's a brilliant movie about. It's sort of like Toy Story-esque. Does that make sense? So it's a farm, but all the animals can talk.
Right.
And then when
Is
the,
it Pixar?
No, I don't think it's Pixar.
It's like an
I think-
off-brand Pixar.
I think it's the same people that made Hoodwinked, if I'm not talking shit.
It's a Nickelodeon film.
A Nickelodeon film? Wow.
Can you tell us, Ross, what's its rating on Rotten Tomatoes?
It's going to be shitloads. It's one of the greatest films of all time.
Sorry,
22%.
22%.
Is that from the fucking woke critics, or is that from the people?
Tomato 22 audience score.
Read a reviewer. It's like,
Yo, that's actually really annoyed me.
halfway through the film, a big text comes up on the film saying, "Actually, keeping animals is bad inside. That's giving me the ick." It's the fucking point.
But it's nice that the farmer will walk into the barn and they'll be having a big party, like dancing around. And there's a big fat mouse that sings Mr. Boombastic. It's really funny.
A big body positive mouse. Please.
I didn't
We're not
place-
a comedy unleashed.
I didn't place any value judgment on the word fat there.
You did a little
He was
wobble.
fat and it was good. This is how he moved. They call me Mr. Boombastic.
So it's a mouse singing Mr. Boombastic.
Mouse, there's all that stuff and there's all funny little bits in and around that and the sort of Animal Farm-esque.
You sure? In that they're animals on a farm. I'll give you that.
And then the farmer arrives and they all have to go back on all fours. So they all walk around and then they're like,
Yeah.
you know, like Andy's home.
Yeah, they
That type
pretend.
of thing.
Yeah.
But there's the dad cow who like runs the farm. And then it's like a father-son story. And there's foxes that are trying to get into the hen house. Bastards.
Right.
Typical.
Classic.
Very scarily animated foxes. Very and the big daddy kind of bull, I guess, bites off all the foxes and keeps them out of the hen house. But then while he's doing it, he sings "Burning, burning, 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 well, I won't go back down," and he's whacking them with a guitar.
So
and all.
they're singing Johnny Cash whilst this is happening.
Yeah.
Which song?
I Won't Back Down, which isn't on that album. Am I wrong? No. Is it not?
Yeah, I don't. Unless it's got a different name.
Oh, that's so funny. Well, I Won't Back Down, I think, is like Tom Petty or somebody.
It's on American 3. That's the one before this.
Prequel.
Okay.
Um,
So have you the squeakquel?
but
Have
that's
you?
how I got into. That's how I got into Johnny Cash. I think broadly. Who voices the big bull on Barnyard?
You're the only person to get into Johnny Cash via the Nickelodeon movie Barnyard. I can
I
tell
think
you
that's
that.
who. It's your man from The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. Okay, love Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
You're
Well, I
doing a
won't-
very Big Lebowski coded show at the moment.
I am. Yeah.
You've got a Big Lebowski actual carpet.
I've
For
got
your
a
set.
Big Lebowski rug, and there's hints of Big Lebowski through that nobody notices.
A man's just a man. I love him in that.
Sometimes a bar eats you.
So he's the bull, and then whilst he's causing havoc, Johnny Cash is
Is that
playing.
James Gandolfini? No, it's Kevin James. Who is that? It would be on the left. I can't imagine James Gandolfini played it like an animated Nickelodeon. Who is it?
So Kevin James plays Otis.
Yeah, Otis is like the young guy.
Right.
And then Sam Elliott's the big cow.
You're looking
It's
at
a-
me
it's-
like I know who the big
It's
cow
sincerely
is.
a brilliant film. I'm
it
actually
isn't.
quite annoyed
Come on.
about this. I
Was
know
it-
it's actually like a beautiful animated like I know it's a kids film, but there's a really sad bits and quite dark bits, and it's really good.
22% Rotten Tomatoes that we said.
Yeah, because of the PC brigade.
I'll check it out.
As Elon Musk said on Twitter this week, if you win an Oscars, just go to the most woke films
That's
nowadays.
true, actually. That's true. Just whatever is the wokest film normally wins all of the Oscars. That's what I remember from the Oscars over the years. Fucking stupidest man alive.
It's crazy how stupid he is.
It really is, isn't it? Because, like, you would think that level of stupidity, he shouldn't have as much responsibility or power as he does. And I know he's just like probably just a face of like a big company or whatever. He doesn't, but he does seem to make some decisions.
Yeah, and he like he is in charge of quite a lot of people.
What was going on with Grimes? Why is she? How does that happen?
So Grimes was his missus, or is his missus, or was his missus, and
They were
then they
married.
had a baby called R2D2.
Yes, they had a baby called R2D2, and then they got divorced, and now she sort of occasionally does like snippy tweets about him.
But
it's
she
like,
didn't get
you
like
married
the
him.
big Bezos payout. You know the way Bezos' ex-wife became the richest woman in the world
Yep.
in one day, which
Yeah.
was kind of, and gave it all away, which I
Really?
think is she's just giving it all to charity gradually.
Yep.
Which he's like, she's just paying tax to piss him off.
She's just unionising workers, allowing them to piss in toilets instead of bottles.
Funding porta potties for Amazon warehouses.
Yeah, no, Grimes. But I just always think, I was like, what were you doing in the first place? Have you seen him? Have you heard him speak?
Who was Grimes? Who's Grimes before that?
Grimes is a musician.
I didn't know that.
She's like very cool. Like her first album, Genesis, or is it Oblivion? But I think Genesis is on Oblivion. But it was like very, it was like 2000, early 2010s, and it was very cool. It was like the sort you know the coffee shop where you go into a coffee shop and people don't look you in the eye, but they serve you the best coffee of your life. The music that is playing in the background at that point would have been Grimes.
I don't. So I still don't know what genre you mean.
Well, it's like electronic.
Okay.
Sort of electro pop kind of.
Okay, as long as it's not, there's a couple of coffee shops in London called Fuck Coffee, which I hate.
Yeah.
I am a person who swears, like not loads and loads, but like
No,
a
but
bit.
it's a bit.
I hate swear words on t-shirts.
What about FC UK? Because I was big into that when I was like
That's
9.
dumb and stupid, but it's
Yeah.
not as like egregious. I don't like people that have t-shirts that say like "Go fuck yourself" or like any. I'm like,
It's silly, isn't it?
what?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Fuck coffee. It's like Brewdog coded, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, we're coffee, but we actually don't really care.
Yeah, and then they got in trouble because they had fat shaming benches outside of their.
Fat shaming benches.
Yeah, there was like a little sign on the bench that said something like "Don't sit in this bit if you're fat because
Oh,
it'll tip over."
fuck offie. What the fuck?
Yeah, and they played like in there. It's unlivable. I don't know how anyone exists in that coffee shop because the whole time it's like.
Yeah. The rave places.
What? It's 11 in the morning.
There used to be a cafe on Leith Walk that had a bench that was bright yellow. That on it said, "By sitting in this bench, you agree to have a conversation with a random stranger." I never sat anywhere fucking near it. I don't need that in my life. I speak to random strangers for a job.
Yeah, that's true. That's how
don't-
you make content these days.
So you listened to a song from American 3 that got you round to American 4 by Johnny Cash, which is ostensibly an album of covers, right?
And then, yeah, and also I think the other angle, which probably got me into this album more specifically from Johnny Cash, is do you remember that video that it might have been a Nike ad that had Ronaldinho in it, and they played "Hurt" by Johnny Cash,
I don't remember that crossover.
or it might be the music video for Johnny Cash's "Hurt" has Ronaldinho in it.
Absolutely not. not even slightly. That's crazy. A crazy thing to say.
I
The
always
music video for Johnny Cash's "Hurt" is one of the most iconic music videos of the last 20 years.
and Ronaldinho's in it.
No. Can you? One of the most mad things someone said in this podcast. I can believe that Nike have disgracefully put Johnny Cash's "Hurt" over footage of Ronaldinho doing flicky ups, right? I can believe that. But yeah, I've watched the video earlier today and I've read the story about the
Maybe you
video.
didn't spot Ronaldinho.
So
I'm really worried I'm just going to be accused of racism right now. There's just a black man in the video, and I'd be like, "It's Ronaldinho."
it's not even playing football. No,
What am I thinking of?
Ross, are you right? Is he right?
I've pulled it up. I can't find who's in it.
Yeah, well, the actual video, I know Ronaldinho's not in it because I'll tell you what the actual video is, right?
Is that LeBron James?
I've got the video here.
Okay.
It has LeBron James in it.
Right, but that's not the video. That's just an advert, isn't it? That they've put music over.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think that's my first memory of.
That's fine. We've got to the bottom of it.
Yeah,
okay?
that was around the same time I was watching YouTube videos such as "Here Come the Boom," Nelly, Big Rugby Hits.
Here Come the Boom, Nelly, Big Rugby Hits.
You know the video?
No, I don't.
Here Comes the Boom by Nelly.
I think it's.
From the film The Longest Yard, also great. Almost certainly going to have a bad Rotten Tomatoes
I think
rating.
it's clear that we're on different parts of YouTube. You're watching famous, great sportsman with heartbreaking music over the top of it, and Nelly, and I'm watching the OG videos. So in the actual video, what happens is the guy who made the video for "Hurt" by Johnny Cash, which is a cover. You know this?
I understand that technically it is a cover, but I think every Johnny Cash cover, it's just his song now.
Well, it's interesting you said it because that is exactly what they said. The 9 Inch Nails.
Oh.
Trent
I used to
Reznor.
have friends in Belfast who played they were like a cover band in bars, and they were both called Nile, and they called themselves the 9 Inch Niles.
Nice. That's pretty good.
It's really good. But did they say that? They were like, that's
So Trent
Johnny's now?
Reznor said, so the story is, so it was Rick Rubin who produced the American series, who's like very famous, important,
I'm reading his book right now.
about creativity.
Yep.
Chris has read that book. It might be one of the books that's here, maybe. No, I don't think so.
Don't
So-
look like it. It's a big grey book, but
So-
it's a bit vague, but I'm enjoying it nonetheless.
Yeah, so he produced the American series and of albums, mostly Johnny Cash doing covers, and he pitched it to Trent Reznor, and Trent said, "I mean, if you want, but like, it seems a bit weird."
Yeah.
And then he said he heard it, and it was like watching someone kiss your girlfriend.
Did he say fuck your wife, or did he say kiss your
He
girlfriend?
said, I think he said kiss your girlfriend.
Wow.
And he said that what he wrote suddenly felt like it was very personal to him because he wrote about giving up drugs.
Okay.
So it was like a very personal song.
Yeah.
And then he heard Johnny Cash's version, which is amazing, and suddenly realised that, you know, this other interpretation of it is so much more powerful than his. And he basically said it's his song now.
Wow. That'd be fucking class. Do you reckon you could do somebody else's joke that well?
Well, did you ever do
Garlic bread.
Did you ever do Joke Thieves?
No, I haven't, but I think I would really love that. I've done a kind of drunken on the tube with other comedians version where each of us had to, like, we were just on a tube journey and somebody had to stand up at the end of the carriage and do an impression of another comedian. And we
Right.
had to guess who it was.
On the tube?
Yeah.
Oh, God, imagine being
Like
on
1 a.m, like fuck all other people there. I think we had the carriage to ourselves.
in the
We weren't
morning.
abusing everybody.
5 o'clock in
Rush
the
hour
evening.
crushed in.
So, what's the deal with fat people? It's
Leo
Leo.
curse.
No, a Joke Thief, show anyone don't know, is I don't know if it still runs. Will Mars used to run it, where you would do 5 minutes of material and then someone else would do 5 minutes of their material, and then you would swap and have to do the 5 minutes of the other act's material. It was really funny because it was sort of known as just as like quite charming, like fun gig in London, and then they did it in Scotland, and all of the Scottish acts kind of took it to mean, oh, this is a roast battle.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of acts who did it who really came out quite upset. I'll tell you after.
Yeah. Please do.
So the video for "Hurt" by Johnny Cash is actually
It's 2002. It would make sense that Ronaldinho was in the video.
it's not the timings I have issues with. It's
He's a World Cup winner.
for sure. Listen, this is not about Ronaldinho. Okay.
At the time, he was Ronaldinho Gaucho, so that might be the confusion.
No. So this is like having Roscoe on. You know that
Yeah, Roscoe and I like to fuck up podcast.
deliberate chaos
We did
motion.
that Monkey Bar podcast that one time.
You did it together,
Roscoe and I just kept
and you had a
burping.
burping contest. Why have I invited you back? Awful boys. So the director of the movie 1 Hour Photo, you ever seen that?
I haven't.
It's a bit like Barnyard.
I'm getting real barnyard vibes off this.
He loved the song so much that he campaigned. He basically said, look, petitioned even, like, please let me make the video for this song. I will do it for no money. So he directed this. He went out to Johnny Cash's house which is attached to a sort of closing down or like in disrepair Johnny Cash museum that hadn't been open for years. And he walked around and it was like bits were all falling apart. It was really depressing. And Johnny Cash is like fucking nearly dead. He's really ill. So at first they were like going to put him in makeup and try and make him look good. And they went, no, fuck this. Let's just have him looking how he is and his wife looking sad in the corner. And they found all this like archive footage of him throughout the years, which they spliced throughout the video. So you should watch the video because the song is like pretty powerful, right?
Yeah.
The crescendo, like the growing of it, like it's not just the words and the way he's singing it, but the actual musical arrangement of it really like you're like fuck. But when you watch the video and it's like him as some old bastard, I hurt myself today, and then it cuts in with him as like a young man, and you realize he's singing about like his whole life and all the regrets he has. Like it's hard to watch without crying. Like I would say a lot of people, I mean, in fact, all of the YouTube comments under it were people saying, I just cried my eyes out, you know. So it's really powerful.
I just cried. Pussy in bio.
It's quite a sad album, this.
Yes, I and it's what's interesting is some of them feel very personal and attached and like hurt, like Johnny Cash talking about the hard life that he's had, and then some of it's like, imagine I was like a cowboy who accidentally killed somebody. Wouldn't that be terrible?
Yeah, well, yeah, but then you have Personal Jesus, which I have to say really sticks out in this. Like it feels like it's on the wrong album. My own personal Jesus. It's like it's upbeat and like you've got Bridge Over Troubled Water and you've got In My Life. You've got Danny Boy. Yeah. Like all these like really
Desperado. Yeah.
I will say about Danny Boy. I mean, are you a fan of the song Danny Boy as an Irish man?
I am.
Oh, Danny Boy, the pipes are calling.
But the fucking I am anti-Irish songs being sung in American accents.
Yeah,
I think it really fucks them. There's a softness to an American accent that doesn't lend itself to the just of Irish music.
The other thing is that Johnny Cash can't really hit the notes needed for
big song, big
Danny
sing.
Boy. The sun is gone, and you can hear him. It's like he's nearly dead. I'm like, Ruben, fucking get him out of the break. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's got all these like songs in baritone. You give him this higher note.
Although what I do like about Johnny Cash partly is that thing of like it's rare you get a singer that is a baritone nowadays.
Yeah, which I do love because I can sing along.
Yeah, so often you're trying to sing along to these boys.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh God. Whereas Johnny Cash, like, it's just there. It's where I talk. It's nice.
And he has Nick Cave on it as well. I think he sings, he comes in, I'm so lonesome I could cry, which is a similar thing. I can sing along to Nick Cave because he sings in like, my pitch. Most people's pitch. Whereas like, you fucking try to listen to NSYNC. It's not possible, you know?
Yep, that's the spectrum. Johnny Cash to NSYNC.
So we do a few things. Oh, we have not even chatted about the Johnny's background. Okay, we have a feature here called Secret Posho, which you know, Secret Posho, Secret Posho. They do it fast and it feels like Nacho.
Nacho?
Yes, Chris wrote the jingle.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean anything.
You got money, you got dash, bro. Secret Posho. I was trying to do it in a sort of Johnny Cash style.
Ah, you got money. Yeah, it depends on the album, but that could be like an earlier Johnny Cash.
Yeah, when he was in his sort of gospel period.
When he was Joaquin Phoenix.
I don't know, we spoke about the movie, which I have not watched.
Oh, I thought you were going to watch it. Did you not get around to it?
I did plan to, but I had to do other stuff this morning, so I couldn't. His family. This is a sentence from his Wikipedia, which I think sums up his upbringing. His family settled in Dyess, Arkansas, a New Deal colony established during the Great Depression under the administration of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. It was intended to give poor families the opportunity to work land that they might later own. From the age of 5, Cash worked in cotton fields with his family, singing with them as they work. So it's a posho, you know. Farm owning family. Okay.
Picking cotton like a posho.
Yeah, he was picking cotton from the age of 5. Which is pretty fucked up. So I don't think that's going to surprise anyone. He sings a lot about, the great poverty and depression in
Yeah.
America and stuff like that. He had some really fucked up things happen in his childhood.
His brother, that's a big thing in the film.
Does it happen in the film? Do you see it?
His brother gets fucking spliced.
Because I haven't seen the film, but I read it and
And it
I
was
saw the
vaguely
sentence. Cash's
maybe Johnny's
older
fault.
brother Jack, with whom he was close, was cut almost in two by an unguarded table saw at work. He died of his wounds a week later. Imagine being cut in two and still being alive for a week.
Well, we don't know what happened to Darth Maul at the bottom of the thing.
He went on picking cotton.
But yeah, and in the film,
Do you know the comedian Gareth Much?
yeah, I've never actually met him or seen him do stand-up comedy.
Oh, really?
But I've seen
That's
him
so
on
strange.
the internet.
Gareth is a good friend of mine. We need to get him on the podcast because he is.
He played the mouse in Barnyard.
he. I mean, I don't know how much you care about this because you don't know him, but he went through a period of his teens where basically every fancy dress party, which when you're a teen is like probably once or twice a year, he dressed as Darth Maul because he did one good costume when he was 10 and then just kept that going for like.
Yeah, I think I did a Darth Maul when I was 10. I've also done a Qui-Gon Jinn.
You dressed as Qui-Gon Jinn?
Yeah.
What was that? Just what did you wear?
We have a family connection to Qui-Gon Jinn.
Liam Neeson?
Yeah.
What's your family?
My great uncle baptized him. That's why he's called Liam. My great uncle Liam baptized Liam Neeson.
Whoa! And that's why he's called Liam.
Same great uncle did Bobby Sands' funeral.
If you baptized him, you'd have seen his cock when he was really small, which is apparently famously very huge. Can you verify?
Liam Neeson's cock?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't be pissing yourself that much with a small cock. Have you seen this on the internet? Liam Neeson.
You
like,
seen this? You heard about this? Liam Neeson keeps pissing his pants.
have you not seen it?
No.
There's like a million pictures on the internet of Liam Neeson having pissed himself at like
He's got incontinence
events.
issues. Listen, I identify with that. I have no problem there. I
Yeah,
don't
you're
want
at
to
the
see
back, he's at the
podcast.
front.
I don't want to slag off someone for having a huge cock and not being able to control his toilet problems. I identify. And being called Liam. Wait a second.
Never seen you in the same room.
What the fuck? It's like me and Mike Rice. I have been in the same room as Mike Rice. Haven't pissed myself though. Not for 8.5 years. A little bit longer now, actually. How about that?
I probably haven't pissed myself since 2016.
Not a competition, but okay.
Yeah, probably similar. Maybe we pissed ourselves for the last time on the same night.
Wow.
I did it because I threw up so hard.
You threw up so hard you pissed yourself. Jesus.
It was St. Patrick's Day. I was so drunk. I threw up so hard in a park that I pissed myself.
Wow.
Because we were in the Uber and I really needed to piss and I needed to throw up. And we pulled up at my house. But my house was across the road from a park. So I got out the left-hand side of the Uber and was like, I'm not going to make it up the stairs to my
Yeah.
door. So I just threw up over the fence.
Have you told anyone this ever? Because I can see in your face that this is your sort of. There's a release happening right now.
I threw up over the fence into the park and just pissed myself at the same time.
I mean, if you are going to go into your home, or presumably your family home
No, this was in London.
in London, either way, if you're going to go into your home, either covered in your own vomit or covered in your own piss, I think piss is better.
It's an easier clean for sure.
Yeah. I know I pissed myself the last time I drank.
Yeah. That's why I assumed you knew the date.
Yes, I went in, I was staying at my friend Gus's house where I was living at the time, and I went in the lift, really needed to pee, but was so drunk I pressed the wrong button in the lift, so I went down to the car park instead of my house, and I was in the car park, I was like, oh no! So I sort of ran out to try and pee somewhere in the car park, but I just couldn't work my jeans or belt, so I just stood there and pissed myself.
Isn't it interesting that if you pee like in public, like if you like up against like a building or something, then that's like illegal.
Yeah.
But if you piss yourself, it's fine.
Yes.
Think you're allowed to piss yourself?
Yeah, I guess. I guess it's the
indecency, the cock, the dick being out.
It's the cock being out. Do you know what I mean? I mean, this is
But what if you had like a
perhaps Liam
cardboard
Neeson's
box?
issue.
What if you had like a or like a toilet roll tube so nobody could see your dick? They could just see the piss.
They'd be able to see the dick hole though.
It's like
wouldn't they?
holding like the alcohol in the brown paper bag.
It's a
No.
it's a
You would
go-between.
have a longer. I know you and Liam Neeson would need like a kitchen roll tube, maybe.
tin foil for. Yes. I mean, it'd be good to have. I got caught once by the police having a pee And they came round. I ran off at, I think it was Bromley by Bow Station. There was a little brick wall you could jump behind. I needed to pee, so I ran off the underground, went around, peed, turned around. The police were there. Hello. And I said, look, I'm really sorry. I just needed to pee. And I said to him, it was either that or piss myself.
Yeah.
And they were like, do you know what? It's fine. We
Yeah,
understand.
you should have pissed yourself. Lovely cemetery near Bromley by Bow Station.
Good.
It's beautiful.
Did you know that Johnny Cash worked as a Morse code operator? Is it in the film?
Can we come back to the injury of his brother?
Sure.
It was like vaguely his fault.
So there was a mention of this in his biography where he kind of ruminated that his mother had some sort of weird intuition about the day and had said to him, "Don't go to work today. I feel like something weird is going to happen."
I'm getting this from the film.
Yep.
In the film, it was kind of like they were working on this saw, like cutting things for the farm. And
How old were they?
Young, like too young to be sawing.
Yeah.
I think like
So I would say,
pre-10.
oh man, it's not either of their fault then.
No, not really. But I like from his perspective, I think he carried a lot of the shame and guilt around about it.
Yeah.
I think the vibe was that he maybe did something wrong, and then like they were supposed to look after each other, you know,
Yeah.
8 and 9-year-olds or whatever. And the brother Jack was like, "Oh, just go home."
Look,
And Johnny should have stayed and made sure he didn't cut himself in half.
but pay peanuts, get monkeys, you know? Like,
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're going to have child labour, every now and then one of them's going to chop the other one in half.
Yeah,
That's the
better
lesson
than
we
child
learned.
Tories.
I don't mind it being chopped in half. You know what I mean? I'll do that myself.
What age did it happen?
So his brother was 14, Johnny Cash was 12.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
maybe
you
I
can't be
was a
taking
bit-
responsibility when you're 12 years old for your 14-year-old brother being chopped in half by accident at work. You're working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Have you had an accident at work or on the road?
You could be liable for compensation. Has your brother been chopped in half whilst you were 12 years old on a farm?
Have you hurt yourself today? To see if you still feel.
You could be liable for some big compensation. And
Just
that's
focus on the pain.
the only thing that's real.
On a no-win, no-fee basis. We get you cash, especially if you call cash.
Oh, we get you cash. Come on. That's good stuff. This is why this cunt's doing well, man. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's not like Leicester Square Theatre 8 times. That's why. That's why. When Cash was in the army, he was a Morse code operator. Did it cover this in the film?
No, I don't think so.
So he would intercept the like during Soviet Russia, he would intercept the Russians' communications, and then send over the stuff via Morse code. Deep, 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 deep.
Did you almost say Morse code?
Morse? Hey, that's Morse code. What? Get out of here! Me and Johnny Cash intercepting stuff, huh? See, Morse code. He and this is a fun, interesting fact. I think because of that, Johnny Cash was the first American to learn of the death of Joseph Stalin. That's pretty cool, isn't it?
That's mad.
Like a mad fucking weird coincidence. The person who happens to do that is also fucking Johnny Cash.
Yeah, but he was the first. Just gets the beep 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 beep
Yeah.
beep 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 beep.
Hey, Johnny Cash is dead. See? Oh no,
Johnny
Cash.
Cash is there.
Oh, come on, man, Liam. Fucking get your head in the game. Jesus Christ. Saying the wrong
That's a
things.
great. Next time I occasionally host like not pub quizzes, but like quizzes for like family and things like that at Christmas.
What would the question be? No one's going to guess that. That's an insane question.
Which so you maybe make it a multiple choice.
Which country music star was the first American to learn about the death of Joseph Stalin?
Yeah. Dolly Parton.
I mean, at that point, you might as well
Johnny
just go,
Cash.
which colour am I thinking of? Red, blue, green, or
Dolly
yellow?
Parton, Johnny Cash, or Billy Ray Cyrus,
Billy Ray
or Lil
Cyrus.
Nas X.
They're in the back. Something else I learned about today was something called the $1 Million Quartet. Have you heard of this?
No.
I mean, I guess not, because I was kind of expecting you to be a big Cash head, whereas it seems like you're a big fan of this one album and the movie.
This doesn't happen. This happened last time on the podcast as well. I don't know anything about anything.
But that's okay.
And I just I get really excited to do this podcast because you tell me lots of cool facts about the album I already like.
So the $1 Million Quartet was...
So do you see when you like an album, do you just start like learning things about it? I just never have that impetus. I just listen to it and go, "That's great. I don't want to know anything else."
No, me and Chris spoke about this before. We've always both, I think, if we really love something, like if I love an artist, I am then very interested in their process and who they love, and then finding those artists and influences.
The tree, yeah.
I mean, part of the reason we do this podcast is to learn more stuff. So a lot of this, I mean, is stuff that I've just
That's great.
learned as research for the pod. But we do have an interest in it.
I don't think I'm a very inquisitive person. I think that's something I'd like to work on, but I don't know if you can cultivate that in yourself. You probably can.
Yeah, we just have to buy one of those books at airports that are called like 101 Ways to Make Yourself More Inquisitive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, some of those books at airports are a bit judgmental of everyone in the world. Have you seen that one where it's like everybody's a fucking idiot?
They've always got a swear word in the title. It's the same thing. Time to unfuck your fucking shitty fuck life. It's like,
That's the one. It's
I'm
called
going to Benidorm. It's what my Toblerone.
There's a book that's in airports all the time called Surrounded by Idiots.
Yeah.
That's about like working in the corporate world and everybody else is useless type thing.
But I mean, really, they are perfectly marketed towards people who are mainly buying their books in airports, I suppose.
Yeah, and think that they're clever because they read one book a year in Benidorm.
Yeah, and listen, just because I've only read one book a year for the last 5 years, it doesn't mean I'm the same as those people.
You read it in Split.
So $1 Million Quartet, right? This is cool. One day, Johnny Cash goes into the studio. Who's there? Elvis Presley, Carl Perkins, and Jerry Lee Lewis, right? They're all different stages of their career, but they're not like fucking massive. But they're all just there doing different stuff. And then someone's like, why don't you have a jam? So the four of them jam, and studio exec, not even exec, a studio engineer was there and was like, these guys are pretty good. I'm going to press record. And so he recorded this like impromptu jam sesh between these four like musical legends.
Yeah.
And then it was like kept and then released once they were all huge later. So it's on Spotify. It's fucking amazing.
Wow.
And so I listened to it earlier today. It's like four fucking shit hot cool musicians just jamming, and they play like jingle bells and shit. Do you know what I mean?
That's so
They're just fucking
crazy.
around. And I
Yeah.
guess it's kind of like, this is gonna sound silly, but like it's kind of like when you listen to like a podcast and it's like four comedians who are now fucking huge and they were just fucking around in a room.
Yeah.
It's like
That's what this will be.
in 5 years' time, when people are
We could be walking around a zoo.
what?
Yeah.
What did you say?
We could be walking around a zoo.
Could be walking around as, what did you say that?
Because you said in 5 years time.
What? But what's the? I don't get that.
This is the second time I've made this reference on a podcast. Not this podcast.
Do you
but
know
a
that
couple.
reference?
It's like that song 5 years time, no?
You know Noah and the Whale?
No,
Well,
I know of them, but I don't know. In 5 years' time,
We could be walking around a zoo.
Oh,
with
I didn't
this-
know that was the next lyric of that.
Oh.
Right, I do know the song, but no, I didn't know that. But you really froze when I. It was like I caught you doing something. Sorry, I listened to Noah and the Whale. We'll do that next time.
That song was on a compilation album I had called Weekend Songs.
Come free with the Daily
I
Express or
think
something.
you will hate nearly every song on Weekend Songs and love like 3.
Is it up? Right, let me get it up because that sounds. No, that's.
I should have done that as my album.
Do you know what? Next time,
We'll do Weekend Songs.
Weekend Songs album. So it was some sort of compilation album.
Like a HMV.
No, I mean the problem is that there is
It's
a
so hard
band
to find.
called The Weeknd.
And they are the most streamed artist on Spotify of all time.
Yeah, so like really the problem with the Weeknd compilation was the name. I wonder if that's why The Weeknd, the band, dropped the
Weeknd?
E, so to not be confused with this compilation that used to
It
like
was a
knowing the
pretty
way on.
fucking big. It was a big compilation album in HMV back in the day. It had like Love Shack. It had You're Gorgeous. YOUREGORGEOUS.
Because you're gorgeous, and it had Nora and the Whale, and those
Yeah.
two, and Love Shack.
Yeah.
What is this?
And maybe I'm Yours by Jason Mraz.
I'm yours. What is the? I was going to say what is the connecting theme between these, but obviously it's just music for
Good
the
to listen
weekend.
to on the weekend, yeah.
But the weekend is like a broad term because the weekend includes Sunday, and Friday night music and Sunday music are not the same.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe disc 3 was Sunday.
I think there was remarkably 4 discs.
Well, that makes no sense. A 4-day weekend. Maybe they were trying to live in a sort of beautiful future in which there's
Bank
only
holiday on a 4-day work week.
Yeah. Okay, and then if there's a bank holiday on a Sunday, you might just be listening to Jason Mraz. You know?
Yeah, that's true. And I think the kind of the weekend songs, the compilation album available on HMV in 2007, was probably a precursor to the calls for universal basic income.
I mean, sounds like it to me. In 5 years' time, hopefully, we could be in a zoo on a Monday.
Getting paid a flat rate.
Okay, it's time for We're Two Guys Reviewing Tattoos. We're gonna Google image search and then we'll choose if it's tattoo woohoo or tattoo boo-hoo. We're judging the ink, yeah, that's what we'll do. Full sleeve or face tat, big skull or wing back. You pick your design. Is it bad or just fine? A dragon or a skull, pretentious or dull. You cannot hide. We will decide if it's tattoo woo-hoo or tattoo boo-hoo. That was Johnny Cash singing Tattoo Woohoo or Tattoo Boohoo. I have to say, really enjoyed that.
That was good.
I really enjoyed singing. I love singing, and I wish I could do it as a job. If I could be a Johnny Cash tribute act, I think I'd enjoy that as my life.
Did you ever see Alfie Brown's show where he spoke about how much he missed the audience during the pandemic? And he was very open, and he said about he would put the headphones on in bed and listen to an old set recording when he hadn't done stand up in like 6 months, and then play what's that fucking song? I just had it in my head and then it's been replaced with something much, much worse. Oh God, no. The thing that it's been replaced with is I love you so much I could climb every mountain, but that's not what he sang. But then he says like he loves singing but is not good enough or bad enough at singing to sing in front of people. Because if somebody's really bad at singing, it's just like unabashedly, hey, I'm shit, but I'm singing.
Yeah.
But if you can like nearly sing good.
Yeah, I'm the same. So like karaoke is like, you know, when you do karaoke, and there's some people who are really good singers, you're like, oh, fuck off. But if you're really bad singers, you're like, brilliant. But if you're an okay singer, people are like, oh no, he's trying.
It's cringe. Yeah.
It's like, well, I'm just naturally okay at singing.
Yeah, I can kind of hold the tune a bit. It's hard, and I think that's a rough spot to be in.
So we're going to see that Johnny Cash does not have any tattoos.
He doesn't strike me as a tattoo man.
Do you think so? I think he does because of all his prison. Like he did loads of gigs in prison over the years, and you can imagine him like, you know, the wandering troubadour. You can imagine him having like an old fucking the word mother tattooed on his left arm,
or like Jack, like his brother or something like that.
Yeah, or a picture of a big buzzsaw. You know. Just a reminder of what he did. But there are many fan Johnny Cash tattoos. So I've got two that I want to show you. So if we can see the first one. So
no,
this is Johnny Cash, but half of him is a zombie. So that's pretty cool. What do you think of that? It's like a photorealistic picture of Johnny Cash smoking, but half his face is a zombie, kind of like Two-Face in Batman.
I would say that is an attempt at a photorealistic tattoo of Johnny Cash. It is not a photorealistic tattoo of Johnny Cash.
You don't think that's realistic?
No,
he's got a missing eye from his socket.
It looks like Gustavo Fring at the end of the episode Face Off from Breaking Bad.
That's a spoiler, by the way. Yeah, I mean the title's a spoiler photo. I guess his face gets fucking blown off.
I don't think the title's a spoiler. I guess I think it's a nice little wordplay.
It's foreshadowing rather than a spoiler. Yeah, okay. So this is if someone like let's imagine someone comes up to you after a show, right? Hey, Vittorio,
and that's me. They've done that with my face.
I loved the gig tonight. I thought it was so cool. I've been a big fan of yours for a while. I listened to the Vittorio Angeloni podcast before it was Vittorio and Mike Rice. I came to see your early previews. Anyway, I've got a tattoo. I hope there's nothing too weird. It's of you, and half your face is a zombie, and you're smoking a cigarette. What do you think?
Well, I would say I don't smoke. First of all,
it's not. There's a lollipop.
It's a lollipop. I've been getting quite a lot of stick on podcasts for Lollipop Chat recently. I started talking about flip pops at length recently.
Flip pop. That was the song.
Yeah.
Wow, that is
Flip pops
unlocked
were
a memory
amazing.
there. Flip pop.
Yeah,
That's all I remember.
yeah. I just liked it's the bottled soft drink of lollipops. Does that make sense? Once you've opened a can, You're drinking the whole can. Once you start a lollipop, you gotta eat the whole lolly. Flip pop, put it away, have it tomorrow.
Right. To be honest, as an addict, and that's something I do identify with Johnny Cash is, I was never putting it away. If I have a lolly,
away.
I'm having it to the end. I don't need to flip or pop it back.
I like the option.
Fair enough. But sadly, I do actually prefer fizzy drinks from a bottle than a can, even though I'm probably still going to drink it in a wanna. I think the bottling process makes it taste better.
Do you know all cans have a little splodge of paint on the bottom?
A little splodge of paint on the bottom. So it does. Why is that?
I don't know.
You can't say something like that and not give me answers.
I told you I'm not inquisitive.
You're observational but not inquisitive,
Yeah.
which says yes. Which that's a good Vittorio Angeloni sum up actually. Observational but not inquisitive. He can notice things, but he'll be fucked if he tells you what they mean.
Because you thought I was just pranking you there.
I didn't think you were pranking. I was skeptical if it was true.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I thought it was gonna be like the Ronaldinho
Oh,
thing.
you thought I was... Because I am quite a sincere person. I don't do many pranks, but I think... Yeah, maybe you thought I was just being stupid and wrong.
Not stupid. I thought maybe you'd seen paint on a can once and gone, all cans have paint.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like you heard Ronaldinho once whilst Johnny Cash was playing and went, well, those two are the same people.
I heard Ronaldinho.
Yeah, sure. I thought I got away with that.
This is crazy and too intense. And also like for a man that did kind of slowly deteriorate into death in not the nicest way, I just thought, why does everybody in tattoos have to just be dead? Like it would be a bad tattoo if that was just a picture of Johnny Cash smoking, but why are you chopping half his face off?
Yeah, but it's fucked up. And actually, when you know what happened to his brother where he got half his face chopped off, apparently, according to you.
It was very much a belly
like a
wound.
magician's assistant.
Yeah, it was a magic trick gone wrong on the cotton farm.
Yeah. So is that a woohoo from you?
That's a boohoo.
That's a boohoo. That's a big boohoo. Now, it's funny that you mention photorealistic pictures that do not feature half the face being a zombie because I want to show you this next one. If we see the one, is it on his arm first? And maybe we have to zoom in a bit. So
That is a picture of Michael Sheen in The Damned United.
yeah, it's Johnny Cash and this fella's arm. If we go to the next one, we've got just a solo. There it is.
Oh my goodness.
It kind of looks like he's sitting in a restaurant and somebody he hates has just walked in.
Yeah.
The facial expression.
That's like just finished Christmas dinner and somebody comes to the door and you're like, what the fuck?
He's got terror in his eyes and he's
It's
just eating
Christmas?
a box of Arthur-Eight.
You fuck off. I'm trying to watch The Great Escape.
I ate my weight in cheese. Get out my fucking house.
That's so awful looking.
That's one of the worst ones we've had on in terms of fan tattoos.
Yeah, that's really, really, really bad. I get nervous about getting tattoos of like people or like related to specific people because people can do bad shit. You kind of have to
Yeah.
wait till they're dead and
But
also hope
even
that nothing
then-
comes out
Yeah.
because stuff comes out.
Well, yeah.
There's somebody walking around with a Savile tattoo. There gotta be.
Jimmy Savile. There's
Yeah.
loads of Michael Jackson tattoos.
Yeah, but they would still argue that one's okay.
Yeah.
Michael didn't touch them kids.
Since our last podcast, you've got your first tattoo.
I have, yeah, and we discussed this. I'd love a woohoo/boohoo on mine in the comments.
What? I mean, I'll give you one live.
No, but I meant like from the viewers. And
No, we don't like engagement. We'd rather keep that.
I'm trying to tuck
getting his
in my
cock out.
I was trying to tuck in my. I didn't want to get my belly out on the podcast, so it's just. Do you not do that before you take off a jumper?
Yeah, no, you do. I was just having fun.
Oh, good.
So Vittoria's got his first tattoo. So you've got. It's quite a small tattoo.
All right.
Oh no, that wasn't. I'm not negging you. I'm just saying, just describing it for the audio listeners. You've got
I didn't think it was a neg,
quite a
'cause it-
small tattoo for pussies. I would say.
Because an egg has an implicit compliment in it. You didn't have any. You just said it was small. That was just. That was just
only
an
small on your
insult.
gigantic muscles. That was the end of the sentence.
Where are we in shot?
So what you have, it is.
It gets confused for a lot of things.
So it is a fence with it's a signpost.
It's a signpost.
It's a signpost.
Do you want to know what people have confused it for?
So I know one of them because I thought it as
Yeah.
well, and then you told me it, and then I pretended I hadn't thought it. But that was the Angel of the North.
Yes, lots of people think it's the Angel of the North.
Which I can't, but only from far. When you actually see it up close,
It's quite clearly
then
a
it's
signpost.
clearly a signpost. Yeah. So is this related to your first Fringe show?
Yes. I'm trying to, because people always said that you get one tattoo and then you get shitloads of tattoos because it's exciting and fun. And I did feel that urge when I first got it, but I've slightly limited myself. Well, I've entirely limited myself by going, I'm just going to do the like one for every show that I write.
Yes. I started that way in that I went one a year.
Right.
But then after a while, I was like, well, I want another one. So no, I just started getting
Yeah. The other thing that people think this is Christ the Redeemer in Rio. And if my granny asks, it is.
Victoria's granny is Brazilian. So she has a Brazilian.
Whoa! She turned 90 recently.
Good on her.
But yes, it's the cover of the play text of translations, and I've learned from my first experience of tattoo stuff. I did stick and poke. I thought that was nice. I don't know what anything else feels like, but it was nice.
So
And
I
she's
have a
nice
stick and poke
lady.
tattoo, and it's probably the least painful version.
Yeah, I think that's the vibe. The lady on Instagram is called Sticks Not Stones.
Nice.
And she's really nice. Irish lady, lives in London, and I would highly recommend. Really good vibes, very, very chill. And I've learned that you can't ask what anyone thinks about it. It's a fruitless venture to ask what people think about a tattoo. You just have to wait to get big enough that somebody talks about it on a podcast. And because you'll just never trust what they say.
Yeah, I
People,
mean,
what do you think? What would you like it?
Well,
They'll always go, yeah.
we can back up our what we say with what we've said about other tattoos before. Though we generally on this podcast we talk very positively about line drawing tattoos on the arms because it's like the old sailor style that we like. So listen, it's a woohoo from us at Enjoy an Album. Chris will have to message you his own personal opinion. It's so sad.
It's so sad, man.
Right,
I just don't know why you're getting tattoos or signposts. Do you not know where you're going?
we're running out of time. We've not spoken that much about the album, but that is okay. That is the normal vibe on the pod. The album is like 12 or 13 tracks.
I really like Sam Hall.
15 songs. 15 sad songs and Personal Jesus. I really enjoyed listening to it.
It's great.
I had such a great time, and then through doing the research and everything, I listened to a bunch of other Johnny Cash songs. I can't say I've ever really Johnny Cash is just kind of like omnipresent. He's
Just
one of these
there, yeah.
huge people. So Boy Named
Like
Sue.
I've never
and-
listened to an Elvis Presley album
Yeah, all right.
because why would you?
I think most people will probably do the same,
Yeah.
right? Walk the Line and all this stuff. So then actually sitting down
Ring
and going,
of Fire. That's a lot of people's first Johnny Cash.
I fell into a burning ring of fire.
I
And
went
it
down,
burn.
down in the flames. they
Hell
go
yeah.
high.
But then actually listening to it and then listening to a load of other stuff, I was like, I think I'm going to become a Johnny Cash head.
He's in that world to me of Johnny Cash, Bob Dylan, Leonard Cohen, Bob Marley. Not amazing singers, but just the meaning and the feeling of what they're singing about is just so.
I think Bob Dylan, like obviously, hey, not a great singer.
Have you ever heard Dylan Hears a Who? It's a parody album where someone does Dr. Seuss books doing an impression of Bob Dylan.
Okay.
I do not like green eggs and ham, Sam I am.
Okay. But I actually think Johnny Cash is a better singer than that.
Then Dylan, yeah, and probably Leonard Cohen as well.
He just has a very specific style, which is just so sad.
And he's just sad. And I think for a while, I must have heard some dodgy information that because he's like the man in black. And I think my dad told me that he started wearing black when his wife died, but that's not the story at all. I think he's just been always mourning his brother.
Well, there was that, and also he said that there was just so much to mourn. He's like in permanent mourning for America, he said, especially after the Vietnam War.
Yeah.
He said it was just so hard to find anything to be happy about because the world is so bleak. Also, just in terms of his background and the plight of the impoverished people of the US, the underclass.
Isn't that so cool to be so fucking down about stuff?
100%. Chris is going to be gutted that he's not here.
That's so his vibe. Chris is always in mourning.
He's the man in black.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's probably when I was listening to like this and the other stuff, I was like, why have I never listened to this? This is exactly my vibe. I fucking hate everything too. I think everything's sad. I love being sad.
Yeah.
I nearly cried on the way here listening to this album.
It is.
And I was like, this is great. I love nearly crying.
But isn't it crazy that you like what's the one? Give my love to Rose, please won't you miss
that was one of the only ones that is his song,
Give
isn't
my
it? Yeah.
Give my love to Rose is what it's called. And again, just like a made up story, like a little folk tale, but it's just like fuck.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that from the premise of like, oh, I just saw a guy who was dying.
Yeah.
And he told me this story, and you're just like, how is that affecting me so much? It's so clearly made up, but he's so connected to everything that he's saying that it just comes across in this beautiful way.
I would say this is a great album as an introduction to Johnny Cash. However, I would say that it's also worth investigating some of his other albums so that you can hear some of his own writings as well. There's only one or two on here, including the live in prison albums. I saw a tweet about Johnny Cash the other day. Actually, it said, "Can you imagine if an artist these days released a number of live albums from prisons and the discourse that would generate? Imagine like Taylor Swift live in Berlin, you know?
Yeah.
People would lose their fucking minds about, prisoners don't have it too easy these days. We've got Taylor Swift coming. Do you know what I mean?
Why would Taylor Swift be doing that?
Well, I don't know, maybe she's dating one of the prisoners. You know, she's fucking like, you know.
The Jonas Brothers, live from The Hague.
They're at The Hague for a different reason. They've done crimes against humanity,
Yeah.
you know.
Would you do like a gig in a prison?
I've done big gigs in prison.
You've done gigs in prison. I've done like music workshops for people at risk of going to prison and who have just come out of prison, but like for this.
Are they just a
charity
general
in London.
populace where you're from?
No, it's just it's called the Irene Taylor Trust. It's like a charity that works with that stuff.
It's called
And
the IRA.
It's called the IRA.
The
They
IRA.
all want to be rappers
Oh yeah, that
in
makes sense.
London. This was they
So
just
I've
all wanted to
done
be
gigs in prison for, it's actually a youth prison in I can't remember what it's called, but there was a bunch of gigs that ran there over the Christmas period a few years ago. There's loads of Scottish comics did, and it was terrifying. It was really scary. You're walking through these long hallways, and you know you fucking go through like security gates and everything, all your stuff taken off you, and then you see these kids and they're all got shaved heads and fucking splits in their eyebrows, and they're fucking staring you out. It's fucking scary. They're all like 15 and hard as fuck. And the gigs were kind of fine because it was like a gift for the sort of a present to them for being like good behaviour.
Yeah.
But you.
So it was the fucking nerds of the kids' prison.
Yeah, the
The
fucking
dweebs.
losers. It was only when you're there that you, on stage, that you realise how, like, you know, sometimes you do a set and maybe there's like kids in the audience.
Yeah.
And you realise how many adult references are in your. Well, it's only when doing your set in front of people who are in prison that you realise how many outside references there are. So, like, you say something like, so I was on Facebook the other day and they're staring at you blankly because they've never heard it. They don't have social media.
I'd say that's probably less of a problem now. Feels like everybody in prison has some kind of phone and social media stuff.
Well, maybe, but like, it's
But
kids.
it's the references, yeah.
There's so many references that are
Yeah,
fucked up.
self-checkouts, they go, what?
Yeah. I'd love to check myself out. I'll quickly tell you my favourite prison gig story, which is Raymond Mearns was doing a gig.
R.I.P.
No, he's not dead. Doesn't say that.
No, he's back from the dead.
Yeah.
He's all right.
He's doing great. And he was doing a gig in a prison, and they said to him beforehand, the only thing, just it'll wind them up too much. Just don't ask them what they're in for. And you just don't say that to Raymond Mearns.
Yeah, no.
He
You
just
don't
goes
say
in
that to
and,
anyone.
"All right, fucking how's it going? What are you in for?" And the guy in the front row goes, "Murder." Mearnsy waits a second and then goes, "Right, did you bore the cunt to death?" One of the coolest fucking things I've ever heard.
That's so amazing.
Johnny Cash would love that.
That's so amazing. I might try and do some shows in prison.
record
I don't
it.
think it's my target demo, but
Record it.
there's like a YouTube video Jeff Ross did, like a women's prison, and like roasted them.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. It's nice.
And I really enjoyed listening to this album. I'm gonna go and listen to some more from Johnny Cash, Albums, definitely gonna watch that movie. I think I've been cash pilled. I think I'm fully. This is something good about doing this podcast. Every now and then you find an artist who maybe you've not really given the attention that they deserve, and then you listen to it and you're like, fuck, now I'm a fan of this person. So this completely counteracts the dumb Paolo Nutini suggestion you brought last time. I'm just kidding.
You're not Nutini pilled?
No, I'm not Nutini pilled. Not at all. No offense to him or anyone, but whatever.
He's supposed to be a big comedy fan.
Yes, he comes to Glasgow Stand, and I'm worried about because the episode that we did where I slagged him off is one of our most listened to episodes, and I'm worried that it's got back to him, and then he'll rough me up outside the Glasgow Stand, which I imagine he could probably do.
He's a skinny boy.
Yeah,
I don't think Paolo Nutini's roughing anybody up.
He's from Paisley, though.
Yeah, but he's just like a stoner guy. I don't think he's rough. I know I have pals from Paisley that are soft as fuck. You know Martin Quinn?
Do I know Martin Quinn?
He's done the Some Laugh Pod. He's done some sketches with Stevie and stuff.
Yes. We've never met.
Yeah. He was
He's
at
too
uni with
fucking
me.
scared of
He
me.
was in my year, Guildhall.
Really?
He was an actor, yeah.
Oh, I forgot you're a little Guildhall boy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's you playing the xylophones. I imagine that's noise. So we have a playlist, and every week we add a song from the album we've just covered to the playlist. So it's now got like fucking 20 hours of music on it. So it's just a playlist of loads of good songs. All the albums are covered, and we ask our guests to choose a song from the album that they brought in.
Here's a good one to listen to when the world is kind of pissing you off a little bit. It's called Sam Hall.
Sam Hall.
My name it is Sam Hall. It's Sam Hall. And it's just like, and I hate you one and all. Damn your eyes. I like that phrase, damn your eyes.
Damn your eyes. A pox upon you. You're like, oh, don't put a pox upon me.
Yeah.
Don't damn my eyes. I need them to see. My eyes be damned.
Great. Yeah, let's go for Sam Hall.
I'm going to say that next time I get heckled.
Damn your eyes.
Someone's like, oh shit. Damn your eyes. Wow, fuck. Just came out on night out. My eyes have been damned.
I like when people say old stuff like drat. Rats, I've been rumbled.
Do you think Hurt is too sad to go on a playlist? I think it might be.
Hurt could go on the playlist, but I think the more
Do you know what? I'm going to put on In My Life, which is the Beatles cover.
my life makes me want to run away. Got no place to go.
I don't think it's how it goes.
No way to go. All the confusion
think it's a
and
different song.
illusion.
We also add a song inspired by a conversation over the last hour and a half. So it could be a song that we've mentioned or another song that is vaguely related to the Johnny Cash oeuvre. So I am going to add a song called Ghost Riders in the Sky, and it is from
Ghost Riders in the sky.
no, that's the Doors. It's like one of those classic
Big
country.
long holiday.
And it's got Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, Chris Christopherson, and it was a sort of super group formed between those three and Johnny Cash called the Highwaymen, and it fucking rocks. It's like fun country. So that's what I'm going to add to the playlist. Do you have any other songs that you want to add? I mean, we've mentioned quite a few throughout the last hour.
A nice country cover done by Cosmo Jarvis, who came up earlier. Friend of the Devil.
Fantastic. What's it? Who did the original? Do you know?
Haven't a fucking clue.
That's fine. You don't need to know. That's good. But that's good. We spoke about Cosmo Jarvis, and this is an album of country people of Johnny Cash doing covers, and it's someone else doing the cover. Yeah, great choice. Great choice. Sometimes Chris when I ask Chris to bring a choice, he'll often go, "Well, the Johnny Cash, blah 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 blah," and then I had an uncle called Johnny, and he used to listen to this song, and it's like too tangential. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and we have arguments
that
about
felt
it.
vaguely rooted. I could have gone 1975, but I actually don't like them.
No, I'm glad you didn't. Listen, this has been an absolute delight. Thank you for coming in. That brings us to the end of the episode.
I've had such a fun time.
Thanks, man. It's always good to hang out. You already plugged your stuff at the start, but we'll say it again.
Come see me at the Fringe as well,
This is an
probably.
exciting thing. You have a vinyl being released.
Fucking yeah, sorry. So stupid. I should definitely say that. My first show, Translations, with this with the Tattoo Woohoo comes from, is being released on vinyl on Monkey Barrel Records, and it's available for pre-order right now.
I can't wait
MonkeyBarrelRecords.com.
They keep the boxes of records in the podcast
gonna
studio.
steal one for no money?
So I can steal one, and then I can play it on my record player, and I go, wick, 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 wick. I can like scratch your show. So they go,
English people.
oh God, people being rude about Northern Irish people in England is blah 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 blah, and I'm like, wick, 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 wick. England, no, no, England, no, no. Can't wait for that.
That's funny.
Thanks so much for coming down, Vittorio Angeloni. Thank you for bringing in Johnny Cash. It's been a wonderful week. I really enjoyed it. Now, did you enjoy it now?
I really did enjoy an album.
Fab. We'll see you next time. Oh, yeah, when we resume Johnny March, which we've taken a pause from. Probably should have said that at the start. Doesn't matter. We'll see you next time. I think the next episode is the live show on Patreon. So sign up for that. Have a great week. See you next time. Love you. Bye. Peace and love in the new millennium.